Welcome to Happily Ever After, the podcast where we dive into life's big stories. Everything from breakups and breakdowns to buried secrets and triumphant happy endings. It's the stuff that makes us human. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey, author of How to Divorce Sober. I'm a mentor, award-winning blogger, yoga instructor, and in a past life, a fully qualified civil engineer. You can find me at hannahharvey.uk or on Instagram at hannahharveyuk. I absolutely love to hear from you, so please get in touch with your stories, thoughts, or questions. But for now, get cozy, settle in, and let's dive into your next chapter of Happily Ever After. Hello and welcome to Happily Ever After. It's me, Hannah, and today I want to talk about how I manifested my divorce. Love a bit of manifesting chat, and I have no doubt that manifesting has the potential to change, like completely change the path of your life for the good. But obviously my journey took me on rather an interesting yellow brick road, we shall say, where yes, I manifested the thing that I really didn't want, but I will get to that in just a moment. First, I wanted to ask you about your second born child. Now, the reason is because I saw this reel this week, and it said, I shall read it. If you needed something illegal done, which one of your kids would you call? And why is it your second child? And I was like, oh my God, totally is. I'm a second child, by the way, and I did loads of illegal things when I was younger. Don't tell anyone. I don't know why I'm shouting about this on a podcast. But, you know, I also wrote about it in my book, How to Divorce Sober. So you can see it there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying my second born is like going to go out and do loads of illegal things, but she's definitely the one that I have observed this week, because we went to a party and it was like a lovely tennis party and everyone's taking part in having a go with the tennis. And she did this for a while and then she was like, I'm done with doing what I'm told. And the guys are like, come on, we're going to play dodgeball now. Everybody get in the green bit. And I watched my daughter and she's like stood in the blue bit. And not only is she not standing where she's meant to be, but instead of being in the place so she can get hit by the ball, she starts lobbing balls at the instructors. And at this point, I'm just like, stood at the back. I'm going to get myself out of the way. You know, the first couple of times I'm like, can you take part in this or not throw balls at the instructors? But I don't know. Part of me is like, it was Independent Woman Day for a start. Independent International. So I was like, go on, just go be a rebel for a while. It's not hurting anybody really. These balls are like, you know, the squishy ones. So yeah, I'm like, she's definitely got that rebel side to her. And I was just wondering if you have a second born who also is a bit of a rebel, or if you're a second born like me and you're a bit of a rebel. So I'd love to know if this theory is actually true. So let me know. And then just a little bit of an update from last week's podcast. I was talking about what to do when you have a bad day, because I'd had a couple of bad days and like out of the blue. So I'm definitely investigating more around perimenopause and how this could be affecting my moods, and I guess trying a few different things to see if over in the next few months, if I consistently keep doing them, that will improve my mood. So for example, I've started seed cycling, which if you're not sure what this is, just give it a Google. But it's where you have a certain type of seeds, like 2 types of seeds for the first half of your cycle, and then a different 2 for the second half. And I first learned about this in the book Period Power, which I think is just up there. I'm pointing for those on the audio on my bookshelf, like it's somewhere up there. It's an excellent book. Highly recommend looking into that, because I didn't even know my cycle when I first read that book, and I was like, 38? So I knew nothing about when I was ovulating, when I didn't even really know when my period would be due. I was just winging life. And I think up to that point you probably can. And then all of a sudden, like apparently perimenopause can hit people from mid-30s. Like I think it's a lot more common than we're led to believe. So yeah, I'm exploring all of that kind of stuff and seeing if evening primrose oil and seed cycling will help me feel a bit more myself, I guess, and just balance out some of these hormonal fluctuations so that I don't have those really shit days where I feel hopeless and sad. But, you know, if I do, I've got last week's episode to listen to again, just to remind myself that it's all okay, we're going to be okay, we're not hopeless wastes of space. So that's the plan. And the other thing is I've really enjoyed started getting my steps up again. So I'm trying to do 10,000 steps a day, and I'm not managing it, but at least I am getting out for walks in a way that I didn't used to. But because of this, Instagram has started showing me relentlessly that those walking pad things that you have under your desk. And now I'm like, serious. I'm like this close. On the audio, my fingers are very close together. Like this close to getting a standing desk and a walking pad. And I'm trying to put myself off from doing it because, you know, it's money, ain't it? And am I really going to use it? Is it going to be one of those treadmills in the corners that we use as a coat stand? But I really want one. Like I really love it. Everybody in the reels are like, I lost a stone just walking 10,000 steps a day. And I'm like, yeah, man. And I just feel like being more active. Like I notice when I sit down and I'm working that my lower back starts to seize up. It's not going to happen if you're standing and walking. Anyway, feel free to tell me that that's a stupid idea if you believe it is, or chime in and tell me how fabulous it is having a standing or walking desk. I would love both ends of the spectrum. Okay, so on to this week's episode, which is 99. Like, can you believe I've been yabbering away for 99 episodes of Happily Ever After? So I'm thinking about next week, because that'll be episode 100. How do you think I should celebrate? I have nothing planned as of yet. So very open to suggestions. Weirdly, I will be recording this episode on my 42nd birthday, unless I do it the day before. But basically, it's going to be my birthday. And I talked on this podcast about how I felt turning 40 2 years ago. I can't even tell you what episode it was, but it's called something like How I Felt Turning 40. So you should be able to find it. And then it's going to air on the spring equinox. I've just noticed that one of my eyebrows raises without me actually being in control of it when I get excited. So it just did it twice then. So I am going to have one hell of a party on the 21st for the spring equinox to welcome in that balancing, gorgeous energy and use it to manifest really cool things for spring. So I'm having a beach fire ceremony, which you are very welcome to come to, and I'll pop the link in the show notes. So that'll be really cool. So that stuff's happening, but it's not specifically like, woo, it's 100 days, 100 episodes of happily ever after. So I'd love, send some suggestions, but I'm thinking I might do some kind of giveaway, or a competition or something like that. So yeah, drop it in the comments or send me an email, hannah@hannahharvey.uk, and I shall reply forthwith. Great. So yeah, on to today's topic, which is how I manifested my divorce. Yay! No, I absolutely bloody love talking about manifesting. So the reason I wanted to talk about it today is because on Monday I hosted a spring workshop called Re-Emerge. And I took everybody through this process where we slowed down, we worked on getting clarity on what we want for spring and why. And then I taught the basics of manifesting, and then we practiced doing it. So that's all in that workshop. And to follow up, I then took everybody through a guided meditation to kind of, it's like the bit you do before you manifest, like really get your energy and your vibes up, because then you start magnetizing and manifesting the things that you want. So that's the idea of the ceremony. And the process I shared was exactly what I did for the month before my marriage broke down. And then I did it every day pretty much for about the next 3 years. So yeah, I guess it brought it all back, and I'm like, oh, I love a bit of manifesting. And it's like, I haven't properly done it the way that I used to do it for quite some time, because lots of other things have come in, like spiritual things and working with goddesses. But sometimes it's just so nice to go back to the basics and be like, oh yeah, this was my route into all of this. So I have used it like over the process. Obviously the divorce happened, but I used it to sell a house that really shouldn't have sold. We're in the middle of COVID and people were not buying this kind of house at this kind of time, but I made it happen. I used it to find a house when the odds were literally against me. Like I needed to rent somewhere like next week and there was nothing. But then something showed up in my sphere that was exactly what I needed, exactly the budget I needed, in the space that I needed it. And I did that twice. Like there's something about me and houses that like when I want a house, it happens. And then I've used it to find the perfect babysitter. So I was really struggling with being a single parent and having children in completely different places. Like the issue I have is my kids are 6 years apart. So one is, at primary school, one's at secondary school. And I had this issue where I had to be getting one from one place at the same time as getting one from the other. And this became my anxiety dream. In fact, it still is my anxiety dream that I'll be in the wrong place picking up the wrong one and the other one is stranded. And obviously my phone won't work. Does anybody else get that in their dreams when you're like, why won't my phone work? I can't remember. And everything gets really slow. So yes, I used it to find the perfect woman. She is still in my life, Julie. I love her to the moon and back. I never want her to not be in my life. Not only does she look after my daughter when I have to be in lots of different places, but she also does things like my washing, and she empties the dishwasher. And when I come home, she's fed my kid, put her to bed, cleaned the kitchen. Like, this is dream stuff. And I wrote out exactly what I wanted. So yeah, it could be coincidence, but I don't care. I found my dream lady, and I will continue to use this process to do all my other dreams. And I also did the exact same thing. I don't want to equate finding a babysitter, who I do love more than, life itself, with finding the love of my life. But I did. I used it to find Dan, my boyfriend. I did it in a slightly different way for Dan because I wanted to be a lot more specific. So there's like a whole raft of things. Like, I've just started actually doing this, mentoring people one-to-one to show them exactly how to do this process, because it is quite in depth and you need to be really specific when you want to call in the right person. But yeah, you need to go through like all these different criteria to make sure that you're calling in the right person. And it worked like a charm. So if you're currently looking for love and you're coming up with all of the duds on the dating apps, then drop me a message and you can try my method. I'll talk you through it. Okay, so the whole thing about manifesting is it's really bloody easy. Like, there's not a lot to it. And we're already doing it every day anyway. So, that whole thing about what you think becomes your reality? Well, that's basically it. Like, whatever is going on in your brain, whether it's positive or negative, that's kind of what you're calling in. Which is why last week I was so keen to share what to do on a bad day, because this is not about ignoring bad days and trying to fake it till you make it. But there are things you can do to honor those days and then get yourself kind of back out of it. So I'll get to that in a minute because, I have kind of thoughts on the whole toxic positivity thing. So yes, because we're already manifesting all the time, because when we think, that becomes our reality, we may as well make our thoughts count and use our thoughts to take us closer to what we want rather than away from it. So if you're spiritual, you can definitely add that element on top, but you absolutely don't need to be spiritual for this to work. It's okay to just have a faith in yourself, and all of this will still work. It's just about what you connect to. It might be the Holy Spirit, it might be Jesus, it might be Allah, it might be the universe. It doesn't really matter. It could be your inner spirit, connecting to your spirit, the one that is in your body. So long as you're connecting to something that feels bigger than you, I say bigger than you and still use your spirit, but your spirit is kind of bigger than you because it's outside of your body as well as inside. Then you can make this work. So when I started out, I was very apathetic to religion because I'd grown up with a dad for a vicar, love him, fully respect his choices, but I was just a bit done with churches and religious stuff. And I didn't particularly want to engage with manifesting from that kind of spiritual side. I came to it, however, feeling I was really anxious and I was really suffering from intrusive thoughts. So I really wanted something to get me out of that state, because I knew staying in that kind of downward spiral was not going to help me get out, I guess. So I was willing to give anything a shot. So my way was to connect to the vastness of the universe and being kind of awe of almost like the scientific side of life, like sitting and just imagining how tiny I am in comparison to this entire universe, and yet I'm here. Do you get what I mean? Like, just feeling that gratitude of there's this whole wide world and universe and stars and like, just, it's like, it literally mind-blowing. So that's how I got into that feeling of like really getting my energy up and being like, whoa, this is nuts, and here I am. And you can do it through that. You can do it through gratitude and just really feeling grateful. So there's loads of way in. And then the more I got into it, the more I wanted to feel supported by the universe. Like I wanted to feel held and like there is somebody there or something looking out for me. So I work with that, and that's the energy I'm going about in my day with. Like I've sat down and gone, oh, I'm being held and supported, and oh, isn't that lovely to feel that somebody's got your back? And then I go out into the world with that energy and feeling supported, and then I'm so much more likely to pass that on to the next person. So it's like this beautiful knock-on effect, and it doesn't have to be spiritual if you don't want it to be. Like these days, my manifesting has brought a lot of spiritual influences in and religious ones. So I'm currently working with goddess energy, which is there's some Hindu goddess energy coming through and some Buddhist. And I say goddess, like that's the one that I gravitate towards. But I would work with medicine Buddha, for example. If I've got a poorly friend, I'll work with that energy of like, I am sending healing to this person, or I'm sending healing to myself or my kids or whatever it is. So, but for the most part, I work with this kind of goddess energy. And I love Marichi, she's got 3 heads. So she brings this energy of compassion, magnetizing energy, and wrathful. So it's kind of like a really fun set of energies to work with depending on what you're doing for the day. Okay, so this is how I manifest. I do it in kind of 4 stages. So number 1 is I'll meditate for about 10 to 20 minutes, focusing first on kind of calming my breath, centering myself, coming into my body, and then using whatever intention I've set for today, I'll focus on the intention to kind of bring that into my body as well. So today I was working with clarity because I knew I had this podcast to record, and then I'm going to record next week's Love Note reset, or like at least a couple of the meditations for that, because that is going to be all about little 10-minute manifesting meditations to help you with your manifesting. So I had all this stuff going on that I wanted clarity on when I sat down. So that is the energy that I'm coming to this with, basically. So then I manifest for like 10 minutes. So once I've calmed down, got quiet, then I sit and manifest. And how you manifest and how you do this will differ for everyone because it depends on how you learn. So for me, I'm a kinesthetic learner mainly, and I like to write it out. So when I was at school, if I was studying for an exam, I would write everything out. Do you know what I mean? Like write literally everything that I needed to learn. I'd use different colours to get the key points, bullet point them. And this is how I would cram for my exams the next day, because I rarely did it in advance. And that's how I manifest now. I'm like, I am so happy and grateful that my kids are healthy and surrounded by people that love them. Thank you. So I'll use words like thank you. Thank you for my body that is strong and healthy and my perfect weight of, let's say, 70 kilos. That kind of thing. So trying to get very specific and positive. So you need to be careful that whatever it is that you're writing or doing is slanted to the positive, not the negative. So you wouldn't want to write down, I'm so happy and grateful I'm not sick anymore. It's the other way around. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm healthy and vibrant and feel alive and want to run around and feel energetic and whatever it is that you're wanting to call in. So sit and do that for like 10 minutes. And I'll explain the other types of learning as well. So another way that a kinesthetic learner might want to do this is I like to do embodiment practices through yoga. So when I teach yoga, we always have an intention, And I will remind everybody of this intention over and over again. I tell people when to breathe. I tell people to connect to the intention, because the whole thing is that you're giving your brain a fucking second to switch off and allowing your body to start to embody the things that we're trying to do. Okay, so it might be connecting to spirit for the day. So I might say, inhale into your heart space. Exhale, connecting into your spirit. Something like that. And through doing that kind of movement, medicine stuff, I'm starting to embody some of the things that I want to manifest into my life, and allowing my body to understand it as well. Because that's the tricky thing. If your body doesn't get it, it's going to sabotage you because it doesn't understand what's going on. Okay, another way is audio. So kinesthetic learner, you could be an audio learner. And a really great thing for audio learners to do is to write out what you want to manifest and then read it into your voice note. And then you can use that to listen back. Or you can just speak. You don't need to write at all. You can just use your voice notes to be like, to say it out loud. I'm so happy and grateful that I've got 10 new clients. Give it a time frame as well. Let's say 10 new clients by the end of spring. Perfect. You don't have to have loads of things either. It could just be one big thing that you're working with. And then the other type of learner is visual. So if you're visual, you're going to want to either go inside and meditate and just stay meditating, visualizing all the things that you want, how you're going to feel, what it's going to look like, who's there, that kind of thing. And then the other obvious one is do a vision board. So think about the things that you want, flick through a magazine, and whatever is calling to you, be like, yeah, ripping that baby out, and then make your vision board. So that every day when you come to do your manifesting, you've got something visual to focus on. And you can be like, right, I'm going to look at that picture of a woman looking vibrant and strong and healthy, and use that to help you then visualize it and bring in all this good energy. And if you want to do that with me and Lou, we're doing that tonight at the Bound, but obviously you can join us online, but be very quick, because obviously I need to know so that I can give you the Zoom link so you can join. If you are joining today, drop me a message at Hannah Harvey UK on Instagram so I don't miss it that you've joined. And yeah, you can also do the replay of that. So if you're hearing this in next spring, for example, and you're like, yeah, I want to do a spring vision board, then come and join. The link is in the show notes and you'll get the replay. Okay, so once you've done all of that, the idea is that as you're doing it, you're like really getting your emotions as big as you can, like really tapping into how are you going to feel when you've got this thing that you want. What will it look like? Who's there? What are the numbers? What are the dates? Get really specific with all this stuff and feel it in your body. Like feel it in your fingers and your toes and even in your bits. Like get turned on. Like that is where the magic happens, when you can get yourself into a state of like, I am excited about this. And how lovely if you've spent the day before feeling really shit to then be like, oh, I can get excited about this stuff. It's lovely. Yeah, and the beauty is that you're basically changing your state from blur to yes world, let's have ya. Fun. Okay, so we definitely know which type of person gets closer to their goals. And it's definitely the one who is excited by life, isn't it? It's like with everything, whatever you enjoy, you're going to do well at. And because you're enjoying it, you'll magnetize the people in because they're like, oh, I want a taste of that. So you might be thinking, why would I want to manifest my divorce? And the thing is, I didn't. I didn't want to get divorced. If you've read my book, you will know that was not something I wanted. I wanted us to sort everything out and to be happy again. So that's what I was writing down. I am so happy and grateful that my relationship with my husband is thriving, that he is healthy, and all that, like the relationship type of things. And then on top of that, I was also writing about how I wanted to write a book, how I wanted time to do this stuff. And it took me a little while to realize that because I was unhappy and working on feeling better every day and all the stuff that I was writing, about a month later, it was like, boom, something happened, and it just meant the marriage was over. And I honestly believe that is because the things that I was writing about could not coexist with me being married. There was a lot of things that came about after after we split up, that I just don't believe they could have happened unless we split up. Like, it was required for us to go through that process to be where we are now. And I have all those things that I wrote down. Like, I have time now because I'm a co-parent. Half of the week I don't have my kids. Did not enjoy that at all to begin with. At all. It was like, be careful what you wish for. But now, again, written about in my book, I promise you that it does get easier. So if you're in that space of like, I don't want to have half my time without my children, it's horrible. And I understand that. But I've got to a point now where I can really enjoy my alone time as well and use that time really well to nourish myself and my needs, do my job, see my boyfriend, like all of these beautiful things that come into my life. It's possible to enjoy them when I'm on my own as well as when I have my children. So, yeah. It took a while to see that I had manifested the divorce. But when I did, I was like, I'm a witch. I'm magic. Oh my God, this is amazing. And I could see that it was actually an opportunity for us, because the other thing is that I do now have a really good, healthy relationship with my ex-husband, and we're able to do things just in a really collaborative way that I could never have envisaged even like 2 years ago. So it's all come about in the end. So it's kind of, as you're manifesting and things are coming up, some of them might not seem as positive as you were hoping. And I just want to encourage you to kind of trust that process and see obstacles as opportunities, because there's a really high chance that you need this thing in order to get to where you want. And weirdly, so I picked a card from Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back card deck for everybody who did the workshop the other night. And the one I picked for anybody doing the replay was this one, which is obstacles are detours in the right direction. So I was like, good. Like, it's just that reminder that it's not always going to pan out exactly as you envision, but just keep the faith. Keep doing it, keep going. If it gets a bit overwhelming, don't do the manifesting bit. Maybe just come back to the breathing and receiving that feeling of being held by the universe and trusting. Yeah. But yes, a note on toxic positivity. This is not fake it till you make it stuff. We are, acting and writing as if it's already happened, but not to override existing feelings. So if you're sad, I really want you to refer back to last week's episode 98, where you've got to honor these emotions and allow them to come up. Spending a day feeling sad is not going to derail all of your manifesting stuff. And maybe you don't even need to spend a day feeling sad. If you actually spent a moment being like, come on, what's going on? That might just be enough for your subconscious, your brain, whatever it is, the maiden within you to go, thank you for hearing me, I feel seen. Like whenever you've had a conversation with somebody where they've listened to you and you feel seen, it takes like 15 minutes to go from resentment to, oh, okay, everything's fine now. So it's really important to just spend that little bit of time going, what's going on? Because otherwise it's going to live in your body anyway, and then your body is going to sabotage everything. So it's absolutely pointless exercise, ignoring the negative emotions. Give them space to breathe, honor them as they come up. And maybe it could be like, I'll give you 15 to 20 minutes to tell me what's going on. And then I'm going to take you by the hand and we're going to go for a nice walk, take in the abundance around us, tap into that feeling of gratitude, and then maybe do some dreaming together. How nice. So yeah, and use your friends, use your therapist, talk through all this stuff and take positive action to feel better. Like it's possible to do both of these things and be successful at manifesting. Okay, so now we know how to manifest. We know that it's really easy, but so is going for a walk or doing some yoga or going to the gym. The hard thing about manifesting is doing it. Like actually creating a habit where you're like, this is something I'm going to commit to, because it's really easy, isn't it, to just let life get in the way and be like, oh, I'm not going to do it. So for that reason, next week I have created a little reset, the Love Note Reset, which I'd love you to come and join. And the focus for this reset is manifesting the spring that you want. And it's going to be a 5-day challenge that will help you get in the habit of manifesting regularly. So you can sign up for free using this link, which is hannahharveyuk.substack.com/manifest. And that will give you a code for you to access all of my Love Notes membership for 30 days for free, which means you'll get next week's reset. But you can also find on there the Reemerge Spring Workshop, which I've been talking about. That costs 15 quid for people to come, but you can just get it for free if you would like to, using that code. And yeah, you can also do last month's reset challenge, which was 7 days of calm. So there's loads of things on there. You just have to make sure you do it all within the next month. And yeah, go get stuck in and see what you think. And if you're listening to this episode in like a year's time, that code will still work, so you can jump straight in. So once again, that's hannahharvey.substack.com/manifest. All right, that's it. That's all I got to tell you for today. So get in touch. Tell me about your second child. Tell me what I should do. Sorry, I can't get my words out now. I'm too excited. Tell me what I should do for my 100th episode to celebrate that. And yeah, tell me about manifesting. Have you tried it? Have you manifested something crazy into your life, like super quickly? Has it not worked for you? Tell me everything about manifesting, because I'd love to hear from you. All right, see ya. Have a great week. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. All the details you need are in the show notes, so be sure to check those out. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do hit the subscribe button and leave a review. It really helps more people find the show. And if you know someone who'd love these stories, feel free to share it with them too. As you know, I love hearing from you, so please do reach out on Instagram @HannahHarveyUK or through my website, hannahharvey.uk.